Listen.
Hold on. Where is Chris? Where in the world is Chris right now? Where in the world is Chris right now? Okay, we're not going to spill Chris's tea, but we already know. And yeah, for those of you that follow him on Instagram, he's not in the country.
Fancy.
So,
Living his best life.
living his whole best Vespa life.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to bring in our girl, Tracy. Hey, so
Hey,
Tracy.
hey. I'm so happy to be back because, listen, I've been waiting along with the others. Everyone who's been thirsty for these Married at First Sight updates, y'all couldn't stay away. You couldn't do it. So,
You said
So
we couldn't do it.
couldn't do it.
we're gonna give you a little bit of shine, Tracy, because you just got back. Where was you at?
I was
Luxuriating.
luxuriating.
Listen, Blake, I'm gonna stop you real quick. You see her IG there, Twitter, so underscore very underscore Tracy. You better follow it. Let's just let Tracy tell us where she just was.
So if you want to live vicariously through me, you feel free to just go on my Instagram, check out all the pics. I got the conch shell to my ear and all that. Because I was in Roatan, Honduras, which is low key a really amazing place to visit if you want to go somewhere different. It's known for like house hunters. People go and get houses there on house hunters all the time. I just happen to be born into Honduran royalty and beachfront property. So I was like, let me go to my family house and chillax. And that's what I did for a whole week.
We love
Those
it.
pictures look really
Amazing.
calming. They look what?
They were amazing.
Mm-hmm. We
I
got
was there for the food. I was there for the food. But
yeah, some of the dishes I saw. We had to plan a trip. I would like to go to anywhere where somebody is original from the country than just going, to visit and staying at it. Like I do want to stay at a posh hotel, but I'm just saying, at least I know somebody who can bring me around the locals.
What's dope is this like food, music, atmosphere, and there's, I would say, probably 75% of the population is English speaking, even though it's a Spanish speaking country as a national language. Roatan happens to be, if you want to do your slave or captive cultural history and research, you'll see that there were captives taken from Africa. They were taken to all over the Caribbean and then made some like detours to Jamaica, to St. Vincent, and ended up in Roatan. So as I'm doing my like ancestry, I'm finding that I actually have roots in Jamaica that I did not know I had.
Oh wow.
Which is really dope. So I'm doing that research. But so what happened was, when there was independence on Honduras, a lot of those Africans they stayed. I mean, where were they going to go? Like, you know what I mean? They were already generations removed. So, and because it was colonized by England, there's a strong English speaking population there.
Listen, that's a whole nother podcast that we need to do, because, at the end of the day, people think slavery, they think just Africa and here. And it doesn't entail. I don't even want to get into it.
Yeah, we'll get into that another day.
Get into it another time.
Just Google Roatan. Follow me on Instagram. Hit me up if you have questions about it. I'll answer them.
Yes, and it's the same with me with the Cape Verdean, like Cape Verde. When Cape Verdean people are like, oh, we're not black, we're Cape Verdean, and I'm like, really? Where's Cape Verde?
Look.
Listen, get your gear. And that's all I'm going to say on that one, because that's a whole ass podcast right there.
Whole other ball
We'll get into that. But we are here because Chris is not here. He's in another country living his best life. But we got our girl Tracy here, repping Chris. And next week, though, it's the first time. It's a first. I said it last week. It's a first. TT, Shahida, and Chris is gonna be in LA together next.
Woo, that's gonna be fire
next week, and it's gonna be fire. We're gonna be at the Hollywood Bowl. We're gonna be at the Hollywood Bowl times 2 days, and we're going to be living our best life and coming to you live with our podcast. So we look forward to it. So anyway, let's get into this Married at First Sight episode.
Let's get into it.
Tracy?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm gonna hand you the wand. I'm gonna let you start off.
I'm dying.
Your couple. I'm gonna let you pick the couple you want to start off with, and let's get it. Because I got notes.
So I mean, it's like, do I go for what side of the spectrum do I want to go? Do I want
you pick whoever you want to pick, boo boo.
So
pick
it's
whoever
like,
you want to talk about, and let's talk about it.
Do I start with the couple that I don't give a damn about, or do I start with the couple that I know is going to give me life through the rest of the series?
Let's start with the couple that you don't give a damn about, and let's get them out the way.
So Morgan and Ben, I'm already done. Okay. Then, if you're moving it over, then Lindsay and her boo, like, sorry, what's her name? Not Lindsay. What the hell is her name? Lindy. Sorry. Okay. But who is going to bring the heat and the fire are the two black couples. Let's just put the cards on the table.
All that. But let me stop you right there. Let's just start with Morgan and Ben. Let's talk about that. So what are your thoughts on Morgan and Ben?
So here's my thoughts. I really was excited to see an Asian man on the show. I thought he was going to represent and be that dude that was going to make all the sisters be like, I need me. I got options out here. And he already lying too much. You already lying. And you're kind of a petty little boy. So I don't like that about him. I don't like how he did Morgan with her profession and like went to the left about her education. Like, just, that's your wife. Why don't you talk to her about it? And she already said, I'm usually done after an episode like this. So I was just like, you know what? They don't need to be together. They already don't need to be together.
All right. I'm going to say this. Morgan and Ben are not going to. They will go to decision day.
Oh, yeah.
And Ben and Morgan will collectively come together. Unless something pops off, Morgan and Ben are going to collectively come together and say, I want a divorce. The issue with Morgan's job, it's just people that just don't understand. Like, you can be an RN. I'm an RN. And it's like, you could be an RN holding an associate's degree. And then you can be an RN holding a bachelor's degree. It's RN versus BSN. And at the end of the day, depending on what city and state you live in, they live in San Diego, California, which I've never been to San Diego, but I'm trying to think that maybe in San Diego, it's kind of like here, where associate holding RNs make the same amount of money as bachelors holding RNs. And then once you get your bachelor's, you can accelerate. Like, her end game is to be a nurse practitioner. So you need a bachelor's to be a nurse practitioner because that's a master's program. It's a 2-year master's program. So my issue with Ben is that he didn't educate himself or talk to Morgan.
All he had to do was ask her.
That's all he had to do. He didn't communicate with her. But what did he do? He went right to Justin and spilled his guts. And now he had to come back to her and say, yeah, I talked to Justin, and then Justin told Alexis.
Just
and
that move alone. Like, that move alone was not cool. It was so not cool. Mm-hmm. So just the way he went about it. I understand you having questions if you're ignorant about the subject. I have 3 nurses in my family. My sister and her 2 daughters are both nurses. So I've seen the spectrum of, master's degree to, nursing school, all of that. And if you have a question about it, ask. But then you're going behind her back, and she felt betrayed. And when she said it and brought it to him, he still wasn't owning what he did.
No, he wasn't.
I didn't. Maybe I'll have to watch it over again. That because that was last week's episode, right? With that whole thing.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
But
so
this
maybe
episode,
I would have
this
because
episode last night was them talking about it.
So
right.
yeah,
And I
Dr.
felt that
Calvin.
he did take ownership and he did try and apologize and he was trying to appease her. I thought, okay, so the thing was she told him he didn't have a bachelor's, right? And then he went to Justin and said, "Oh, she lied about having a bachelor's." And then
No. He said she lied about being a nurse.
Okay, right. And I felt that was, I mean, again, I agree with both of you. That was silly not to ask. I get it to a point, you did just meet this person, but she is your wife, so you need to be as transparent. And then if you need to call her to the carpet on something, you need to actually go to her because it's so new. But then I also understand him going to a friend who he feels like a close with, that they just met, and saying, well, I think she lied about something. How should I handle this? I get that too. I feel like it was all completely blown out of proportion on both sides. It
Not
was
really. No,
that's how I
really.
feel. I'm saying
He called her a liar, Shahida.
Huh?
He called the girl a liar.
He did. He did. I remember that, but like I said, he blew it completely out of proportion. He didn't know what he was talking about. He absolutely did not. And I'll give her that. And I give her that she's hurt. But I do understand him going to Justin. I do understand him being confused about what she is, whether or not she was a nurse, whether it was an associate's degree nurse, I get it. I understand it. I just feel that everybody handled themselves poorly. He handled his situation poorly, and then her reaction, it might have been, it was pretty fair, but then we kind of get to last night, on Wednesday's episode. What more did she want him to do?
Okay, so here's the thing. She said that to Pascal, her and Ben had an agreement when they got married, when they went to the honeymoon. They weren't going to talk about finances, life, anything. They were just going to enjoy each other on their honeymoon, which I agree with, because if I'm on my honeymoon, I met a stranger, I married a stranger, I just want to try to get to know you. We can talk about finances and household shit and your beliefs and everything when we get back. And she said to Pascal, we agreed that we weren't going to talk about nothing. But what did he do? As soon as we got to the honeymoon, he started talking about finances, electricity, her background and everything. He was going in on her. Listen to me. Ben was overkill. This was that was a honeymoon episode where they decided they weren't going to talk about this. I'm talking about the episode that we watched 2 days ago. And he was like, I'm not going to have nobody try to tell me when to wash my clothes. No.
Now that's what I wanted to get to, because last week's episode, I didn't feel as harshly as you guys did. But this week's episode, no one's doing that. I'm not unplugging stuff every single day just because you think it's going to save a couple of cents in electricity. I'm not doing that. Stop being so rigid.
But this is
I think he is immature and goofy.
I'm seeing character flaws. These are character flaws to me in Ben.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't see it as a huge character flaw. Him being the whole, unplugging stuff or whatever. I don't see that as a character flaw. I feel like there are plenty of people that he could probably meet who are just like that. I don't think that makes him a bad person because that's how he wants to live. But she's not going to want to live like that. I'm not going to want to live like, I don't know too many people that would want to live like that. He's going to have to learn how to compromise. And that comes again to me saying he seems very immature and too much of a jokester. It's like, where is your level of manhood? He's too much of a boy. That's
Right.
what I get from him. But I don't think he's a bad person. I haven't gotten that vibe from him yet.
He's not the kind of person that needs to be going on the show trying to marry somebody. He's not there.
That part.
I don't think she is either.
When I say character flaw, I'm saying as someone who comes to the show marriage ready, he's not.
But none of them are. Is anybody ever coming to this show marriage ready? Because when I listen to Morgan, when Dr. Cal was speaking to her, it's like, you are so broken. I get it.
Oh, she definitely has. But because she has those issues, he's already stroking.
But that's what the professionals, they hook them up together. You don't see that she has these issues, and it goes back to so many people have these issues with their father or their mother in this season. I see there's a lot of things.
But there's so much more mature already than Boston. There's so much.
Listen to me when I tell you.
Who's so much more mature?
The whole cast, like they didn't start their messiness for a few episodes in Boston was day one.
Even San Diego, they still got their shit together. It is what they are, very communicative to each other.
I think it's a much better season.
I think it's a very much better season. So far, it's a very much better season. I think that this season of San Diego, by far, I've been like not as stressed watching the episodes as I was when I was watching Boston. And as us Boston girls, we live in different.
No one was drunk at their wedding. You know what I'm saying? Like their vows were well done. They weren't acting insane when they met each other. I was like, oh my gosh, these people might be kind of semi well adjusted.
Yeah.
Until then they get to Pastor Cal, and then like I said, something. So I thought with Morgan, she was very she's really broken. I don't, and they're never gonna come back from this incident for the reasons that you all said. I mean, the things that he said are gonna resonate in her head the entire time, and she's connecting it with every issue she had with her father and having to
she already has trust and abandonment issues.
She has, so she definitely shouldn't be in. She shouldn't be on Married with First Sight. She needs to be dating, building up trust along the way. Definitely not full blown into a marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, everybody has issues. I have issues. I have abandonment issues. I have trust issues. I have shit with my dad. It is what it is. But what I would have liked to have seen them do, because of Ben with his close-knit relationship with his mother, his father, his sister, he doesn't understand. Like, Ben looks at her and he's like, I'm not saying that he's not gonna fall in love with her or he's not empathetic to her, but he just doesn't understand her situation, because that's not how he grew up. He grew up with his mother and father. They love each other. He's got a sister. He has a close-knit shit with him. And I don't think he understands Morgan's situation. Now, having said that, I think that the experts maybe have thought that Ben would have been a little bit more empathetic to Morgan. But Ben ain't that dude. Ben ain't that dude. When she sat there, listen, I felt Morgan's pain when he was like, when Pastor Cal was like, when she was like, I felt every bit of her words when she said that shit. And she's like, I don't trust anybody. And if you betray I can trust you. But if you betray
once you cross that line,
when Ben went to Justin, and then Justin went to Alexis and spilled all her tea, and it was inaccurate tea, number one. They made her seem like a liar about her career, and she was not lying about her career.
And this goes back to what you said, Tanya, about Justin being effeminate. Like, why are you gossiping like this, bro?
That's right. But at the end of the day, that was, I put that on Ben, because Ben should have never, ever, when you made a pact with your wife to say, we're just going to talk. We're going to deal with each other. We're not going to talk about drama during our honeymoon. We'll deal with finances. We'll deal with past broken shit when we get home. Let's just enjoy each other at the honeymoon. And I agree with that. Because I don't want to have this conversation. We're in fucking Mexico, living our best life. Let's get
You're supposed to be trying to fuck
We're
me.
trying to connect.
Like, stop worrying about what kind of credentials I have. It's a Google search.
Where you live. What are you doing? How much you make for a living? What kind of issues you got mentally? No, we'll deal with that when we get back. But from here on in, I married you. And now we're here in sunny Mexico. Let's just friggin' enjoy each other and get to know each other.
Mm-hmm.
He betrayed that trust, and I don't think I'm going to end this on Morgan and Ben for as far as I'm concerned. Ben ain't feeling her. He's trying because that's how he was raised. That's how he was raised. He was raised to try and not to shut it off. But I guarantee you, if this continues, Ben's going to be like, yeah, no. Decision day, Ben's going to be like, yeah, I'm out. If Morgan doesn't X his ass out before that.
And I feel like she probably will. I feel like her issues are very deep, but then they're very up on the surface too, where she's constantly comparing or sabotaging relationships, because she has a standard that, I get it. Nobody wants their trust or, betrayed. And he did, he said something, out of pocket and told somebody. But that's also something that a person would do when he only known you 2 damn days.
Well, he only knows Justin like 3 more days than that. You don't know Justin either.
Exactly.
You don't know Justin like that either.
That's what I said. That's what I said last week. All of a sudden, they have like this great friendship or whatever, and they don't know each other either. But that's my point with Morgan is she has way too much baggage. She should not be on the show. She's going to be an emotional basket case, in my opinion, for the rest of the season.
Again,
it's going to make for great TV. So
that's right. I think that, the likelihood at this stage of the game in 2022, the likelihood of finding innocent people is slim to none.
So Lindy's one of the quote unquote innocents because she's raised with this this Seventh-day Adventist background, but she still got stuff with her too. She's like, I had a little, unless you.
Oh no, she has a lot of issues.
Yeah, she got a lot going on too. So you would think she'd be the one that's like untouched or whatever. You know what I mean?
So, having said that, are we done with Morgan and Ben?
Done.
Let's just jump right into Lindy and Miguel because I got notes.
Listen. I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed with these men.
All I'm going to say before we go there is when I was watching the episode, I kept saying to myself, if I was an expert, I would have matched Ben and Stacia together. It might be a cultural or an ethnic thing because I know that they want to, match people to people that they are, are comfortable with. But having seen all these episodes so far, I think that Ben and Stacia would have been a good connection.
I don't like them together.
I don't see Ben.
I see it.
He seems so immature. Definitely not mature enough for her.
Stacia's too much of a boss. Like, unless she wants a man. So if we're gonna jump to Stacia and Nate,
no, we're gonna jump to Lindy. We're gonna jump to
Lindy.
I'm
gonna back up because I got notes. I got notes.
Lindy and Miguel.
Okay.
So what are your thoughts, Tracy, on Lindy and Miguel?
We don't need to talk about this ad nauseum because here's my point. Miguel he's not that great. I think he's good for he's got a great job. He seems intelligent, but I'm not feel. First of all, his sister's a pain in the ass. So if you're gonna be my sister-in-law, you got to mind your damn business. That's number one. So she already kind of coming hard for Lindy. I don't know. I don't care for Miguel. One thing I'm gonna tell you what I didn't like about him when he met her family. And this is going back an episode when he met her family and they said, you know, what have you done wrong in relationship? He's like, oh, nothing. I've never done anything wrong in a relationship before. I always just break up with people because they're fucked up. I'm like, that's not an answer. And clearly it's your ass then.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a nice person.
I don't like that about him.
In my opinion, I think that I keep going back to this. The person that his friends described and the person he said he was, I'm not seeing that person. I'm seeing a manipulative person.
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing a very egotistical person. I mean, he has a huge, and he really is taking advantage of her, you know, to a point in my mind, but I don't think he's nice. When it comes down to it, it's just very that simple. He's not a nice guy. And you could see how he was like trying to go in at the table. You know, he was a shit stirrer at that table when they had that dinner last week.
And he's not smooth. Like he's not
smooth to her.
Like, he thinks he's God's gift. I'm like, you're not though.
I don't think Miguel is genuine.
He's definitely not. I agree.
I don't. When he looks at her, again, I'm going to say this. Two things with Miguel. One is a positive, one is a negative. And that's the only 2 points I picked out with Miguel. I think Miguel looks at her. He's okay with her for now, but that's why he keeps bringing up the whole decision day. When we get to the 8 weeks, get to decision day, and she doesn't like that. And so they've decided to name it the vow renewal day. Listen to me. I don't think.
She decided that.
Either way, I don't think Miguel is going to say yes with her. His eyes are the windows to the soul. And when I'm watching Miguel with her and handling her, and even though he's saying, you know, I feel like I've changed. Like I was kind of looking at you kind of sideways. I didn't even say that, but that's just me.
So do you guys remember last season when Steve said to Noi, he was like, I need time. I can't be saying I love you on the honeymoon. I feel like that's what Miguel's trying to play. But for him, he's not going to get there as quickly as Steve got there. He's going to, I feel like he's an opportunist. So he's waiting to see how is this going to work in his advantage? Is he going to have a wife that's going to be that arm piece that he can bring around the family, that's going to not leech off of him? I guess he had these women that were quote unquote leeching off of him. I don't know who these women are that he was picking on, but I think he's just waiting to see how it plays out for him, and then he'll decide if he's gonna open up himself to the relationship. But I think it could go either way with him. I feel like she's 1000% in.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's a turnoff to him because she's so like when he
she laying it all out on the table.
She's laying it all on the table. And he came home with the roses, which I give him credit for that. You know, he came home with the roses. He cooked her dinner, and she's just too. For me, she's just too childlike for me. Like that doesn't do it for me. She's too childlike, and I get it because she doesn't have the exposure that most of us has had when our upbringing. Like, but listen to me. That girl drops the F-bomb a whole lot.
She had a graduating class of 2.
She knows her situation. Don't be trying to play that religion thing when you out here living your best life and dropping F-bombs all day, talking to your husband.
I have two things. I wouldn't compare him to Steve, only because I feel like Steve was genuinely in it, and I don't think he was a dishonest person. I feel like Miguel is not in it. I feel of all the people on the show now, that he is the one on the show just for the clicks, just to get a little
more
bit.
so than Nate.
I agree.
I feel it.
Nope.
I feel him more so.
I agree with
Nate
you.
is the thirst bucket for them lights.
So let me finish. So I feel that he's in it definitely for the clout. He doesn't. He's not sincere with her at all. I mean, I feel like the way he expresses himself to her, it's almost rehearsed. The things that he says, and then again, he knows how to play her. Now, as for Lindy, back to you, Tanya, what you said, her dropping the F-bombs and everything. Remember what her friend said about her. I'm still waiting for her explosiveness because they're saying that, she does have a lot of attitude. She doesn't know how to deal with people in conflicts or anything. She flies off the handle. And I can see that happening, so I'm waiting on that because I don't think that she's all super innocent. I think there's a little manipulation in her too. And I think we saw that with Stacia last week, how she was just, you shot me this zinger. And then she came back and tried to hit a little bit below the belt. But him, I think he's more of a manipulator than Nate is. I think he's in the more. Nate definitely is in it for the clout. You know what? I have things to say about Nate, and it might be a little bit.
But
different.
I think this is why it's termed the honeymoon phase because it just stepped out of the honeymoon. So Lindy is still trying to pretend to be who she thinks she's supposed to, and she's good when she gets pushed to that point. Then you're gonna see her go off and then cut the camera type scene. So if her friends are already saying it's under there, she's just tamping it down while she tries to get him to like her. But she essentially kind of said that she is trying to catch up with society, quote unquote. So she's probably just doing whatever to try to maintain this marriage.
All I'm gonna say, and then I'm done with Miguel and Lindy, is that I have to give props to Miguel because all of us have it in our refrigerators.
The tahine?
The bacon grease.
The tahine on the mango?
No, the bacon grease. Shut your face.
Oh, yeah.
Yo, when she was like, she pulled out and she's like, what is this? As soon as I was watching it, she pulls out the little jar. She's like, what is this? And I was like, bitch, that's bacon grease. I was talking to the like, that's bacon grease. And he's like, what are you talking about? And she's like, what is this? And he's like, oh, that's my jar of bacon grease. And she's like, well, we can't have that. I'm like, boo-boo. Any black and brown
bacon grease. I do not have bacon grease in my refrigerator.
Well, of course you don't.
I used to.
But I have a full ass jar in the back of my refrigerator. Listen,
do not throw that good.
Wait, can I say one thing? Tracy, I gotta go after Tanya. You got bacon grease in your refrigerator, and you and Chris clown me for eating watermelon at my desk.
Yes.
Okay. So can I just?
Because I ain't doing that shit in public.
My weigh in on the watermelon.
Listen, Tracy, hold on.
No, I want her to weigh in.
I will make my bacon, and I will make my bacon in the oven. And then once the bacon's done, I let the grease, cool down a little bit, and then I have my little jar, and I pour that shit out in my little mason jar, and I keep it in the back of my fridge because when I'm making my collard greens or whatever else, black eyed peas, red beans and rice, anything, I got my reserve bacon grease. But what you ain't gonna have is sit in a
sidetrack, Tracy.
You better eat that watermelon in your house.
Okay, so here's the thing. For years, I felt the watermelon stigma. I would say during the pandemic I was like, fuck what everybody else thinks. Let me put my little baby watermelon in my car. I don't care. I'm going to put the whole watermelon in there. And I'm going to bring it to work and eat it. And you know what? It might be a feta salad with watermelon because white folks is out here enjoying their watermelon with no restrictions. So you know what? You might just see me out here eating a slice as well.
That's why that bug just tried to attack you, Tanya, because he's saying, fuck you, eat that watermelon.
But I'm going to tell you something else about buying the whole melon versus buying it cut up. So, I know Tanya and Chris like their cut up watermelon. one of my coworkers once told me it's more sanitary to buy the whole melon because you don't know what the cut up melon was exposed to.
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
100%.
Hold on. I have purchased a whole watermelon, and then I have purchased cut up watermelon. But what I'm not going to do, like, I have purchased a whole watermelon and I will legit put it in my carriage at the bottom of my carriage and put everything else on top. I go and get
Girl!
Free your
I go
mind.
and get that shit
Free
first,
yourself.
and I put everything on top of it. And then when I'm checking out, I'm like, or I'll check out myself in the checkout lane and put my watermelon in a
Who are you?
bag.
I mean, here's my thing. I don't care what y'all see me buying, whether it be lube, a watermelon.
I'll buy some lube. You know me, girl. I'll buy some lube.
Mind your damn business. Get off my carriage.
But watermelon, okay.
But what I'm not going to do, okay, here's the thing. I love watermelon. And I will buy it. I will buy a whole watermelon, but I'm not going to buy the whole watermelon and walk through the friggin' supermarket with the watermelon.
It's food.
No, I can't do that. No.
If you listen,
I guarantee you, nobody is paying attention to you eating water.
I guarantee you that I know that nobody's paying attention to me, but I will not do that.
I'm telling you, it's once you let that stigma go, you don't even think about it anymore. I don't.
I can't do it. Anyway, listen.
Right,
that's a whole nother podcast. We'll have to talk about that. We'll have to bring you back, Chasey, when Chris is back, and we can talk about the watermelon stigma because I need my road dog.
Let's start with the little baby melon, the small one.
I know you can barely see them in the car, but you know. I don't buy those because is that real?
But you can't sit at your desk neither and eat that shit.
I eat it at my desk. I eat it walking to my desk from the kitchen. I'm eating watermelon. Love it.
All right.
Next couple.
Let me tap my third eye. Next couple is, let me look at my notes because I'm just thinking about back to Lindy and Miguel. I made a note. I like the fact, I did agree with her on the fact, and I'm going to say this and you guys can chime in. I did agree with her about decision day. Like, he was always like, I'm here for the 8 weeks. And then when we get to decision day, we'll figure that out. And she was just like, well, bro, I signed up for a whole ass marriage and you're not, I feel like you're just here for 8 weeks and then you'll figure it out at 8 weeks on decision day. So I like the fact that they came to a happy medium and said that they're not going to call it decision day and he's not talking about it, even though I know he's not going to say
thinking about it, but okay.
He's thinking about it, but I don't think he's going to say yes on decision day because she's got too much with that whole religion and all that. I think he's going to say no, but I think he's just appeasing her to be like, okay, we'll just call decision day vow renewal day. And that's all I get.
I don't think her religion, I mean, I get it. It's a strict, she's strict sector. What is she, Mormon?
She's
Seventh-day Adventist.
Okay, so I get it. It's very strict and they usually kind of like want to marry a person in the church. I don't feel that it's so much that as it is just her personality. There's something like, and I'll give it to Alexis. Alexis couldn't put her finger on it either. There's just something about her that she just has a lot of, I feel like there's a Karen energy in her.
I think she's just too childlike. I wouldn't even say it's Karen energy. I think she's just too childlike because she's been so sheltered with her religion that she may have Karen tendencies, but I think her priority tendencies are more towards she's just like, I'm so innocent. I'm here. I don't care what he looked like. What she told Pastor Cal. I didn't care what he looked like, what he brought to the table. I was going to try to make it work. Regardless of
that's the attitude she should have.
like.
So I think maybe in her circle, she's old, even though she's only 29. Lindy, like she's probably should have been married with like a few kids by now. Because even her brother was judging Miguel and saying that at 35, why isn't he married yet? So they probably
He's a
get married at
weirdo.
like 17. I don't know what
Yeah,
time.
but yeah, we're not gonna talk about that brother because that whole family is fucking creepy as fuck.
He was definitely a weirdo.
Shit gives me that whole family, his mother, the sister, the brother, that whole family gives me fucking Latter-day Saints vibes.
There's gonna be so much clashing between those two families.
Yeah.
Like,
and again, for Miguel, he has to factor that. Like Lindy could present a good thing to him, but at the end of the day, am I willing? If I'm Miguel, am I willing? I could love you, Lindy. You could do the most for me and I could love you. But at the end of the day, am I willing to deal with your cult-like ass family? Because that's what that is. That's a cult.
Well, I mean, I know quite a few 7 Day Adventists, and I don't think they're cult.
And they out here living their regular ass life.
Yeah, I know quite a few. Grew up with a lot, in my opinion.
They just go to church on Saturday.
The people that Lindy presented, that shit sounded cult-like.
Girl, well,
I mean, there's some people that take it.
Shape, but them people, listen, if I married somebody sight unseen, and their family is that, and her brother, y'all know me.
When you say religion is not important,
you can set him straight.
If you put on your application, any religion, this is what happened.
But here's the thing, I wouldn't do that. So if they match me with, and
I wouldn't do it.
His brother came to me and was giving me that shit with the Lord Jesus Christ, I'd have been like, ew, no, we're done here. Let's end this marriage. Call Pastor Cal and Dr. Pepper and everybody else. Because here, the reception is over. I'm not going back to the room. I'm not going on the honeymoon. We're done here. Because I'm not marrying this cult. Not doing it.
We just spent like mad time talking about the two most boring couples.
Yeah, we did. So, all right. So we're done.
I do want to say one thing. I want to end on one thing. He's not a nice person. I know Lindy has her issues, but he's not going to be caring to her. He's not going to try and accommodate her in any type of way. I feel like we're going to see a level of meanness from him to her in the following weeks.
But I feel like she's going to take it, though. I feel like she's going to take it.
I agree with you.
I think so, too. And I think that's the worst part of it. I think she is going to she'll turn it. You know, because you see everything that happens and everything that he says, she tries to make it not as bad.
Justify it.
Exactly the word I was looking for. She tries to justify it in the way that, you know what, that she's accepting it. You know what I mean? So that's it. That's all I have to say about that.
All right. Before we go to the next couple, I have 2 points that I have to talk about because I am just that bitch. Watching this latest episode, I am just beside myself of, y'all just got on a plane. Look, I get it. I know that Puerto Vallarta is like literally flying from Boston to New York, like 30 minutes. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, I got to have this conversation about, I'm just going to make 2 comments and that's it. How the hell are you going to fly on the plane from Mexico to San Diego, get to your new apartment, and you go jumping in the bed, right
in your street clothes,
with your street and plain clothes and shoes? Everybody, Stacia, all them, even Stacia. I was disappointed in Stacia with that. I thought she would be the one that would be like,
don't forget, she grew up in a not Black neighborhood. She went to school in a predominantly white school.
No, I don't give her that because
she lived with those
about her house. She kept talking about her house and how clean it was and how fabulous it was. And what you do, you walk in the house with your shoes on, and then you lay across your bed with your airplane clothes on, and then on top of that, okay, people, PSA: when you fly, when you get to your destination, just take your clothes off, take a shower, and put some fresh clothes on, and wash the clothes that your ass was in, and put the shoes on at the door. But the number one offense I have is, if you check your bag, don't throw your dirty ass contaminated bag
on the bed. Oh, I hate that.
On the bed. You put the fucking bag, all of them was putting the bags on the bed, and let's open it up. Let's unpack. Oh, and then let's just lay in bed with
our suitcase is so filthy. It's
filthy.
So filthy.
Filthy. Rule number 1, put your bag on the floor at the door when you first come in. Open it up, unpack it, spray the fucking shit.
They literally give you a stand. It's in the closet.
Thank you.
You get it out the closet.
They give you a
pop
stand.
It open, and you put that joint on there.
She said it
back. Put it on the bed. You put it on the bed. What I did not, that was my pet peeves of this episode, was the couples were like, all of them were like, oh, I'm so tired. Let's go and let's climb in bed. And I'm like, yo, you wearing that same outfit that you was on the plane with. You in the bed with the shoes on, and you putting your bags on the bed and unpacking. I'm done. And that's all I got for that. So next couple, who y'all want to start with? Since we're talking about dirty, let's talk about Mitch and fucking Kristen. Because Mitch's house gave me all kinds of anxiety.
That was disgusting.
Because he's an environmentalist and he's trying to be.
But you can't be clean.
No.
In that tub.
Sorry,
Tracy. I get it that you water your plants in the tub. I get that, but you know that also coming. Why would you not clean up before anybody comes to your house, especially your wife?
He also isn't he the one that hasn't been with the woman sexually in a year and a half?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, honey. It doesn't matter if you've been with a woman or man or a dog or a cat, whatever.
To that point, you got this nasty house.
That does not account to your dirtiness. Listen,
he didn't have anyone to clean up his
I'm gonna keep it real. I ain't been with a man in like 5-6 years. But guess what? My house is clean.
But you're a woman.
And I have a cat.
Yeah, it's a difference.
And I have plants. And
you're a woman. A black woman.
No. I don't give a damn who you are. Clean your house. That man's stove, I literally gasped. And I likes to cook.
He's not trying to waste water. Okay?
I love to cook. And when she was like,
she's not trying to waste water.
When she's like, when's the last time you cooked on that? And he's like, oh yeah, I cook on that all the time. And I was like, I literally was like, I was like clutching my pearls. Disgusting.
I have one positive thing to say about Mitch. He had a cute shirt on one of the episodes with a little crochet pocket. I was like, oh, fashion. But other than that, no. He's okay. I don't think he's any different than the majority of dudes similar to him. I think he's pretty typical.
Yeah, I agree.
He didn't totally get on my nerves this episode, other than the house. They seem to be getting along. I like Kristen. She seems to be very
even keel. Yeah.
And even keeled. She's definitely see that. But I do think that she sounds like she's talking herself into him too much. I think she needs to relax a little, and because she was definitely hurt by what he said, on the honeymoon. But she's really trying to talk herself into this relationship, which is great because you do want it to last forever. And I'm still on the fence about whether or not he deserves her. Because I do like her.
He's over compromising. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think that I give them that I think their relationship, I think the two of them were very adult and very mature with talking about that issue with him not being attracted to her. I like that.
He has a nerve though. I'm sorry.
He has a lot of nerve.
A whole lot of nerve. But I think for Kristen, this episode, Kristen was doing the most to get her back blown out and get laid. With the coupons and the whole thing.
That's cute.
Did all that. You did
He
the
wasting
coupons.
Paper.
Huh?
He over there wasting paper.
Wasting
That man don't
paper.
you trying to waste no
But
water.
he liked it.
Paper.
You know, the bubble bath, like the bubble bath coupons and all these other coupons. And then I'm like, he's looking at her like, huh? Okay, I can't. Oh, this bubble bath expires today. So now I'm going to get my bubble bath.
But you know what I liked about that though? Because she puts thought into stuff.
Kristen just seems, yeah, for me, Kristen just seems to wreak a lot of desperation because of her failed supposed marriage before she met him and married him. I think
that was messed up though.
Like,
that was really messed up.
I think Kristen's brain is, my friends are married with children. I'm the only one, and I get that. I'm the only one that isn't married and don't have children. I need to get this shit done. So she's willing to accept. She's willing to overlook Mitch's flaws and deal with
flaws that big.
Did you see that motherfucking stove?
She can take care of the house.
That cleanliness part, yeah, I get it. Yeah. But I mean, that's not like a character flaw or like he's like mean and cruel or something. So he's dirty. She can take him along the way or to help clean up. But I don't think that's a major flaw to give up on a relationship.
I think they're compatible. So even though he's not, I wouldn't pick him. For her, I think they both, like, he has a nurturing side. She wants children. They can agree on that. Like, I could see them building a life together. I don't see them having major blow-ups other than her maybe disrespecting the level of activism that he's on. I think that's going to be their biggest arguments is the environmental stuff. Like, I don't really see them getting into other types of big blowouts because she's going to bend for him.
Of course.
I see that there might be other issues because as much as she's trying to accommodate him or whatever, I think he has a cockiness about him. I don't think he will appreciate her enough for the things that she does. And I think at a point or not, she's going to feel unappreciated. And I think that he has an ego, just like Miguel has an ego.
Yeah, Mitch is married to his job. Like, I think that's very clear. And that's why he neglects everything else, his household, his relationships with women. He has
nothing to come home to.
Right.
Himself. So
he said he's possibly willing to work on that. So
no, he has to work on that.
No, he's going to. He's going to have to, or else she's going to be in them streets with somebody else because he has to pay attention to his wife. Yeah. And he's got to find a balance between his career and his personal life.
And that's what I said, like the thing with the jar, I'm like, I don't think he appreciated enough the thought that she put into it. Because it wasn't just like, oh, let's just go jump in the shower and have sex. She made it a game. And I think that would be indicative of how she leads the rest of her marriage life. She's not going to just take it all for granted. She's putting effort into it. And I don't think he'll appreciate it. But we'll see. They could make it, but for some reason I feel like he is going to fuck it up.
Yeah, I agree. I think if that marriage doesn't work, it's going to be because of him.
Because of him, yeah. So.
Yeah. All right, so
who's next?
Listen, let's go to Stacia and Nate.
All right. Go ahead, Tracy. You seem anxious.
Oh, Nate is, I think the word Chris used was slimy. He leaves a trail of snot behind him. He's so gross. I can't stand him. I can't stand him. Wow. He's fake as fuck. He is a damn diva.
Wow. Wait a minute now. I have to kick back on you on that one. Because he's okay. Nate, I look at Nate. I think Nate wants the whole package, but he doesn't want the whole package.
He doesn't want to work.
Yeah, I said that last week.
I think Nate wants to be married. He wants to be that power couple, But Nate wants to be that dude that's like, yeah, we in these streets, we partying. That's why Nate don't want to have that conversation about having children.
So did you see, like, now we're going back, so I have to go back honeymoon. So she's like, husband, does my are my goggles on? She was trying so hard to drop hints to him that, like, please take care of me before you just zoom off on your four-wheeler. He wasn't thinking about that girl. He left her. He wasn't tending to, like, this is the phase where you're supposed to be like all over her and my baby, and let's try to. He was there for the lives. He was doing like multiple lives. And then, I understand hustle. There's a difference between hustle and him being like a janky promoter. And he's giving me janky promoter vibes with his occupation. When
we still don't know.
Speak to her family. He's like, oh, they believe me because I cried. I'm like, yo, he was faking. He was faking. You ain't never known your mama. You met her once.
Nate,
you ain't worried about that.
Nate is an opportunist.
I don't like him.
That's what I got from Nate. Opportunist vibes. He's an opportunist. But having said that, I think Nate is not ready. I think Nate wants this.
Not for a woman like her.
No, but here we go. I don't think Nate is ready for a woman like Stacia. But I think she's willing to work with him. But he's not ready to open up to her and talk to her about his issues with his mother. Because I always come from the background of, or I come from the room of, if you're dealing with a man, if he doesn't have a good relationship with his mother, or no relationship with his mother, or hates his mother, what the hell makes you think he's going to love you and treat you right? Not going to happen.
He doesn't have a reason to love his mother. She abandoned him.
Yeah, and he has no feeling. And that's why she's trying to pull it out of him. And he's like, yeah, I don't have nothing to give you.
Because he just met her, and those are deep, hurtful things. And it might be just as simple as, she didn't raise me. I was hurt and angry about it for a long time. I'm over it. I don't have any more feelings about it.
Yeah, but she is in this. She said to him, I'm in the same boat.
But that's how she feels with it.
He doesn't know who his mother is.
So
she abandoned him. She doesn't know who her father is. So here lies
that's a point they could.
Neither one of them know who their parents are. So at the end of the day, who are we blaming? Are we putting this blame on Nate and Stacia? I'm not, because I look at it like I said it last week when we was on this. That's on the parents, because Stacia can't look at me as a 37-year-old woman making all this money and handling her business, and I'm her mother, and she doesn't know who her father is. Talk to your mother. Your mother knows who your father is.
Maybe she don't. Maybe
but
she
again,
don't know.
That's why I was looking at it like, that's why I kept saying, maybe it was a traumatic experience, where her mother was assaulted and her mother doesn't know who her father is. And that's why she doesn't know who her father is.
I think her mother does know.
I think her mother
get the feeling that it's not even as dramatic as that. I get the feeling that
that's right.
Maybe there was some kind of like,
because when you look at her sister, if you look at Stacia's sister, Stacia and her sister look exactly alike. The only difference is that Stacia's sister is a little bit heavier than Stacia. But when you look at them in the face and the hair, they are exactly alike. And their mother is there. The three of them, the mother, Stacia, and her sister, are straight up in the face. So that leads me to believe that Stacia's mama, you had both them girls with the same man.
I feel the same.
You're gonna tell me, how is Stacia gonna look at me in my dead ass face and tell me I don't know who my dad is? No, you know who your father. No, you don't know who your father is, but your mother does. So you need to talk to her. Her mother needs to pick up on that. Now
Nate knows who his mother is.
Nate knows.
He only met her once. He doesn't know.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, she didn't want him. Their situations are a little bit different.
You're right, Shahida.
But they have a shared trauma when it comes to
But how she's dealing with her trauma and how he chooses to deal with his trauma, he can deal with it anyway. I mean, it doesn't. He doesn't have to.
I think that's why they put them together, though. They thought they could. I think that's why they put them together, because maybe they could build on that shared experience and then create their own new family.
Maybe he doesn't want to keep carrying that forever. Like she seems to want to live off of it, like it's a lifeline. Like she wants him to cry and break down over not. Maybe he did that already. Maybe he's past it.
Maybe he didn't. Because maybe he didn't cry over that already. Because why would you cry over something you don't know?
That's how I feel.
I mean, as a child, you're going to cry over a missed parent, whether or not you know them or not. If your parent is absent, you feel rejected.
I get that. But here's the thing. Nate and Stacia are not on that same level. Nate knows who his father is and knows who his mother is. His mother just chose not to be in his life. And he made the decision. His father raised him. He made the decision like, look, this woman had nothing to do with me. Why do I need to? And I get where he's coming from with her. Why do I need to have this conversation with you? I don't know her.
I don't understand why she's forcing him.
I can't talk about anything I don't know. But here's the thing. With Stacia, she doesn't know who her father is. But her mother does.
Yes, she does.
And
there's already
like, boo-boo, call your mother and find out who your fucking father is. And you need to settle that shit up. Because you're never, Stacia is never, ever, 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 ever going to move forward. Nate could be the best thing since sliced bread.
So here's my thing with Stacia is all of that happened to her was her driving force that made her the woman she is now. So she kind of that's how she became Stacia. But
she emancipated herself from her mother.
She's intense, and I feel like she needs somebody more on her level to really build with. I don't feel like she can build with him. I don't see it. I don't
feel like she wants to build with him. She has hers. And she's content to just have the husband.
But she's talking about a post-nup. She's talking about a post-nup because she doesn't.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I get that. But again, here's my thing. If I don't care how much money I make. If I position myself to go on a show like Married at First Sight, a post-nup isn't even on the table at this time. Because I'd like to think that I'm not going to have this conversation with my significant other. I don't know him. He doesn't know me. I'm not going to have this conversation with you because at the end, I'm going to be a Miguel and be like, I'm going to go this 8 weeks. And if this doesn't work, if it works and we are in love and we decide to move forward, then after the fact, we'll have the conversation about the post-nup. But before then, we're not having this conversation. That's how I would have rolled with that. I respect the fact that Stacia is making her money. Do not get it twisted. That bitch is making $415,000 a year. She is doing her thing. I give that black woman all her fucking roses. Okay. And I like the fact that Nate was like, it didn't faze him. But having said that, I'm saying to myself, are you okay with that? Or are you okay with the fact because you walked into her house? Now, don't get me twisted. I liked her house, but her house had nothing. There was nothing.
That's what I said.
Cold.
There was nothing warming about her house. Like if I knew Stacia and I walked into her house, like you could walk into my house and you could see shit. I'm not saying that I'm dirty, but you can see that my house is lived in.
Yeah.
You didn't even have a picture on the wall.
But okay, going back, did you see her office? Her office was bare.
Yes.
Like, I was like, is this some kind of like WeWork office space? It was her. I think that was her office. But so someone like that to me is like, you are prepared to pack up and shut it down. You aren't putting anything personal there because at any moment you feel like you have to cut and run. That to me,
or you're all about appearances. It's all about appearance.
But then you stage it so it looks warm.
Right.
I don't think she's even there. I think she's just like her whole thing is, I'm not going to be that kid that couldn't, like you said, Tanya, go to McDonald's because we ain't have McDonald's money. So she has this money, but it's like, you know, then what are you doing with it? Are you enjoying it? You know, I feel sorry for her because I don't know. I don't like him for her. And I don't know if she even can find the guy that's right for her through this
and
show.
that's why she's been single all this time. And can we talk about, and the only thing I gotta bring up, because and then I'm done with Stacia and Nate, and you guys can keep on, but this is the only thing I got left, is when if he walked into her house and started pulling shit, even if he didn't like it, even if it was great to her and he didn't like it, she would have a meltdown. What she did walking into his apartment, and she's like, look, he's a man. And she's like, my God, the oatmeal, this is old. Oh my God, the wine glasses that, you drank out of these wine glasses, wine on the bottom that it dried up. And she was going through everything. She was doing the most.
You didn't like it when Mitch had them dishes. He didn't want them.
But here's the thing. I wouldn't do that. What's her face? Didn't Alexis? Oh, not Alexis. Kristen didn't do that to Mitch. She just kind of shaded him and was like, "Oh my God, when's the last time you cooked on this fucking stove?" And he's like, "Oh, I cooked on it."
So here's what I would have done as the wife. I would have just come in and been like, "Do you want to wash these dishes together? I'll wash, you dry." Like, that's how you supposed to start it off. Like, you coming in just criticizing people.
I wouldn't have said shit. Listen to me. I'd have walked into Nate's house as his wife. If I had this bomb ass house like Stacia has, I would have walked into his apartment and I'd be like, "This is great," like she did. "This is great. I like the view downtown, da da da." And then when I saw, if he was like looking to my cupboards or looking to my closets, if I didn't see if I saw something that I didn't like, I'd just be like, "Oh, okay. I'm not going to shame him." This woman took it to the next level. She was like opening everything. Do you even live here? What is this? What is that? What is that? I'm just like, I just found that so off-putting with Stacia. I like Stacia, don't get me wrong.
She's an alpha female. She's an alpha female, so I see her doing that.
Showed her ass going through Nate's apartment.
So my point
I commend Nate on the fact that he didn't go ham on her, because I would have went to the left on her ass, like, "Bitch, get out my house."
And that goes to my point. My point with Stacia, and what did you call her? Alpha female?
Yeah.
I think she's an alpha female that does not want an alpha male. She wants somebody like Nate. Nate is not as ambitious as her. He tries to talk that game. He's not as smart as her, and we all saw that when he was talking about that damn $700 coffee machine, and he couldn't grasp that that was an investment that actually would save money in the long run. But okay, but he's not as smart as her, and he's okay with that. I think he really is okay with that
because he knows that he's leveling up. But
exactly, he's leveling up.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
So he knows that. So he knows that, and he accepts that because he knows his life is infinitely better with her. Mm-hmm. And I feel like as much as we may not like him, he is perfect for her.
So here's what I think about Stacia. She may be okay with a man who makes less than her, but she definitely needs a man who's all there for a relationship, and he is not. The way he left her, I'm telling you, on the honeymoon, I was pissed off for her. And she's trying to help him along, like, "Hey, you forgot me, you left me." Like, she wants someone that's at least gonna open the door for her, and take her out to dinner. I don't think he's going to meet that. So I'm sure she's used to dating men who make less than her. That's probably a fact of life. But you also have to be in it for the relationship. Now, mind you, when it was time to get up in that shower, he knew what to do. So to me, he's just there thinking he's just going to lay it down all the time, and that's going to be enough. That she's going to get tired of that.
Yeah.
That's not enough.
I don't think that I as much of an alpha male she is, and I said it before, and I don't want to compare her to anybody else. I don't believe, as far as like the relationship is with her and him, that she's going to accept it. And I bet you that they probably are they'll probably be one of the strongest marriages on the show this season.
Agree.
He's shady though. He going to jail. He is going.
But she doesn't. She does not mind. I don't think she wants. I don't think she
when he starts embezzling from her real estate company.
For real though,
because he has that energy. I'm telling you,
he has that vibe. He does.
He has that energy. Yep. He gonna
yep.
find a way to get a job up in the company because she's go. What is what she's gonna do? She's gonna hire him. He's gonna be in there calling the shots like he's running shit,
like he's
getting cash advances and fucking up her bag. I can see it coming.
This is when we'll see her intelligence and her smarts on that. Because here's the thing. Let's get back to the Keurig, the coffee maker. I'm like, why are we having this discussion? Like, you have this bomb ass house, but you have a Keurig. Why are we having a discussion? Bitch, listen, it's San Diego. Anybody that has a half a brain cell in their head that owns homes or rents apartments knows what the real estate, the money that you're putting out for the house that bitch is living in. And here I'm looking at like, why are we having this conversation? This was my brain when they were talking about the Keurig. She had the Keurig on her counter. And I'm like, why are we
she wants to buy a new one. She doesn't like that one anymore.
No. She had a Keurig. She wanted.
She was talking about buying a new.
No, she didn't want a new Keurig. She wanted a Nespresso.
Exactly.
She had a $150 Keurig on her counter. Now she wants a $700 Nespresso. If you're listen, I'm not having these conversations with anybody. If I'm making $415,000 a year, I don't need to marry somebody, a stranger, let alone. If I don't like I have a coffee mate in my house.
Listen, that's something I'll be ordering at a red
Thank
light,
you.
Okay?
I'd be on Amazon tomorrow. I'd be on Amazon tomorrow. Like, I'm not having this conversation. I have a coffee mate because I'm 54 years old and I'm old school. I put my filters in, I make my coffee, and I'm good. I don't have an espresso. I don't have a Keurig. But if I had a Keurig, or I have my coffee mate, if I wanted an espresso, I'm not going to wait until I marry somebody. If I'm making that kind of coin, I'm not going to wait. $700. I'm making $415,000 a year. And now I'm going to have this conversation with your ass about, I'm going to have this debate with you about, $700 for the Nespresso. Bitch, buy the fucking Nespresso. You should have had if you were that bitch, you would have had that Nespresso on your fucking counter.
It would have been more of a, can you answer the door when my shit arrives?
That's right. I would have never had that Keurig on my countertop. That shit would have been in the garbage.
Since you don't have a fucking job.
Thank you.
Answer the door when Amazon gets here.
That's right. My Nespresso would have been on the countertop when I showed him my house. We wouldn't be having this discussion about the friggin'.
Better yet, put it on the wedding registry and move the fuck on.
Right. And she had, not only did she have the Nespresso, the Keurig there next to the Keurig, she had the whole lady with the whole fucking pods.
With the pods.
She had all the pods all lined up, and I'm like, bitch, shut your mouth. Don't talk to this motherfucker about, we're going to have this debate about getting a Nespresso. Bitch,
he gets his coffee from the fucking gas station, okay? And there's nothing wrong with that. But don't argue with him about it.
That's right.
Coffee from Cumberland.
And that's delicious.
Girl, you and me both, Dunkin' and Cumberland.
This is why she don't need to talk to him about it.
Why are we having this discussion?
They should be having sex. Like, why y'all even y'all wasting time?
Listen, I'd have brought him into my bomb ass San Diego house, and I'd have been like, "Fuck that fucking Keurig over here. Let's go to." Listen.
And she said, even though they're not having sex, they're doing stuff. So I'm like, I don't know what stuff it is, but you seem like y'all should be doing that instead of talking about coffee.
That's right. It was a mess. Anyway, are we done with them?
Yep.
because we got to get to the story.
Tanya's favorite room.
I'm gonna go full Vanessa Williams. Hey Chris, hey Vanessa, we gonna save the best for last. I don't know if that's saving the best for last. Justin and Alexis. Let's just get to Doggate. Tell me.
So I feel okay. I understand that Justin's dog did, what Alexis didn't want him to do. But if you're joining a household with 2 pets, there's gonna be some kerfuffles. They're not gonna learn to love each other like day one. But I feel like she's being a little too harsh on him, and I feel like he's being way too elusive. Like he's not taking ownership of the situation. He said, "Don't worry." The dog, wasn't as well behaved as he promised, and then he's like making excuses for the dog, but that's like his kid, and her dog is like her kid. I don't think she should tell him to get rid of his dog.
No,
and he shouldn't have promised her that he would get rid of his dog. So but I don't think it's fair for her to ask him to get rid of the, you keep one in the house, keep one outside, keep one upstairs, keep one downstairs. I don't think it's fair for you to say, get rid of your companion when I don't even know if my ass is going to be here after the 8 weeks.
That part, because here's the thing. Doesn't mean to keep it upstairs or keep it downstairs or keep it outside, keep it whatever. I look at it like this. I commend Justin for taking that. Listen, I got so many opinions on this one because I'm an animal lover, and I've had an aggressive dog that I couldn't have people come around or other dogs come around because she was so aggressive. And I got her trained and it didn't work. But I was like, look at here. This is my baby.
That's your baby.
That's my baby. And I'm not giving her up. So if she will calm down. She will calm down after like 15 minutes and she'll love you. But if you can't be okay with that, then you can't come to my house. That's the way I looked at it back in the day when I had my dog. Here's what I'm going to say about Justin. I think both Justin and Alexis were wrong in this situation because Justin was wrong in not disclosing to her that his dog was aggressive.
He said his dog is not aggressive unless you mess with him.
He didn't disclose that his dog was aggressive and his dog had episodes in the past. Right?
I feel like this is a metaphor for Justin because I bet you Justin's going to blow his top at some point. He's playing calm. I feel like he got a little something with him that we haven't seen yet.
That part, it's coming. I think Justin was wrong in the fact that I said that. I think Alexis was wrong in the fact that she just willingly walked her dog in that house and left him off the leash. Justin had his dog on the leash. She was like walking around doing the most, and the dog, little Newton, was walking around, and Newton got his eyeball chewed out. Here's the thing. Yeah. Both of them were wrong on that.
Yeah.
Then I think Justin was wrong for saying to Alexis that if I'm going to take Maya to be trained. And if it doesn't work out, I'm going to give her away. No, that's not how I work. Yeah. Bro, bitch, look at here. I don't even know if I'm going to be with you in 8 weeks. So I'll take her ass to be trained. And after that, I'm going to give it to a friend. I'm going to ask for
something. But she's just like, throw the dog in the street.
Or a friend. I'm going to ask a really good friend of mine or a family member of mine to take my dog and house my dog and take care of her until after the 8 weeks.
Or we both give our dogs up. Because if my dog got to go, bitch, your dog got to go too.
And that ain't happening. Already know she ain't having that because she was so quick. Here's the thing. She was so quick to shut him down after that should happen. Now, don't get it twisted. I love my animals. But at the end of the day, if I marry a guy and I'm trying to make this life, and Justin was so apologetic about it and he was crying and shit, I'd have been like, it's okay. We can get past this. Let's get past this, but let's get my dog taken care of. Let's figure out what we're going to do with your dog. My thing with that is that when Justin took his dog to that goddamn, wherever he drove that dog to, I was like, Justin, don't leave your dog. I was screaming at the TV like, don't leave your dog there. That is a puppy mill. It looked like a whole ass fucking puppy mill. A whole ass friggin' in the arms of the
Not
angel.
Sarah McLachlan.
I pulled it. When I saw that shit and all they did was put the little thing, the little placard there, like Maya with the heart, and they put her in the cage.
Didn't they have brought both of the dogs to get trained together?
No, that dog is at home with them. Maya,
but I'm saying, shouldn't
Maya
they have brought both dogs to like get some kind of dog therapy? I don't know.
I mean, that would make sense to me too. Well, maybe not. I mean, because he's the bigger dog. I don't know if that other one has that training, but they both should probably get some type of training. The difference in dogs that I've known from people who have dogs, training is like night and day. I mean, I feel like any person that gets a dog, if you don't get training, that's almost like neglect.
That's right.
It's almost like neglect. So it's best to do that. My thing with Justin, and like you said, Tanya, they both were wrong. You know, first of all, like she even said it as they were walking in the house. How should we actually be doing this? We probably should have Googled on how to introduce dogs. Yeah, you probably should have done that.
Dog owners. Be responsible dog owner. Shit.
Like, that's how I feel like neither one of them have had any kind of training as dog owners. That you know, they just adopted dogs and that's it. Because both of them should have knew better. Second, with Alexis, when he was trying to comfort her and she was just like, no, and she didn't want him to come to the animal hospital with her or whatever. I want to understand how you feel, but let this man comfort you too. He feels horrible. Had he not, because we've seen that before, like somebody's dog died or something on one of the seasons or whatever, and the guy just didn't care. And she was just like, he didn't even show any affection. Oh, it was actually Noi. I'm sorry. So it was like when her dog died. But had he not showed any affection, that it would have probably been an issue. He didn't care that my dog was messed up. So he's trying to show you he cares, and then you don't want anything to do with him.
That's probably her MO in relationships, though. That's probably her MO in relationships. Like she probably
said that plenty of times. She runs. Yeah, she shuts down. And so she has to get beyond that. But she said something to me. Well, not something to me. She said something to Pastor Cal. What hit me was how he doesn't tell the whole truth, or he leaves out really important information. And I feel like that's going to be a huge issue.
That's a trust issue. That's a trust issue.
Yeah, it is. And much more so to me than Ben and Morgan, because important details is just like lying. He's like, I didn't lie to you. I just didn't tell you. But leaving out important information is the same as lying.
It's omission. It's lying by omission. So
I knew that Justin was going to be problematic when he had that fallout with his brother in the beginning at the bachelor party. And he literally, Justin was all in it. And then he talked to his brother, and his brother was like, I don't think that you're ready. And he flipped the switch real quick and showed his whole natural ass. I think that Justin is that dude. He's either
hot or cold.
And Nate, I don't know if you ladies watched the after party. I watched the after party with Rudy Huxtable. Listen to me. Nate pulled Justin's card. Nate and it was Nate, Kristen, and Ben on the after party. And we already know, all of us that watch, that Ben and Justin are ace boon coons. And Nate put that shit on the table. He's like, no, I find it very weird that he is so emotional and he cries at the drop of a hat. And he, is like all in your business, Ben. Like, and he ain't worrying about his own life.
Nate's instigating. Nate's instigating. That's why I'm saying
that's not necessarily true, because he's very much so into her. Yeah, he might be. He might have been like in Ben's business or whatever, but you can't say that he's not into his wife.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Okay, so I'm just gonna say this. I'm just gonna put this shit out there. With Married at First Sight, I get it. I love it. We podcast about it. But here's my thing. I'm not trusting. I'm not that trusting of people that after a day or the whole wedding, and he's like, I love you. Like, it hasn't even been a week, bro. And you're like, I'm in love with you.
That's soccer.
Like, that's creepy to me. I'm sorry to a lot of people, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna put this out there. So, Still Dope family, just, on our YouTube page or our Instagram page and everything, just let me know if I'm wrong or feeling that way. Because for me, that shit will creep me out. I could go on Married at First Sight and marry a complete stranger. But if he says to me the day of or a week after, I love you, I'm in love with you. No.
I can see, I'm feeling you. I'm really growing to really like you. But Noy did that shit, and it was crazy.
He's emotional. And that's probably why they're gonna have issues. Is because, well, she's a little crazy too, but I get more crazy from him because he's so he hasn't learned to put his emotion in check. He's
emotionally stunted, 100%. Right. He was raised by his brother, which you would think would make him hyper masculine, and he's the opposite.
Total.
He's the opposite, but he said himself he's sensitive. He told her family, I'm very sensitive. If we get in an argument, we're gonna cry together. I'm like, don't cry with me.
I'm not a
unless there's really a reason to cry. If we get in a fight, don't start crying.
That's right.
I'm gonna be mad.
Right. No. If we are going
at it,
walls to the walls, argument, you start crying, I'm a bitch slap your ass. That's what I'm gonna do. And here's in lies the issue. Now, I think that she is in love with the idea, but I don't think at the end of the day, when it comes to decision day, Justin is gone. So all I'm gonna say to Justin, and I hope, Justin, if you're watching this, I hope you do, Justin, if the dog doesn't get the proper training, do not surrender the dog. Fucking give your dog to a friend or a family member, or pay somebody. Or
it's gonna take more than one.
Pay a fucking kennel to take care of your dog.
The dog was supposed to be in training camp for like 6 weeks.
That's what I'm saying. They didn't have enough time to really try to train his dog properly.
But Alexis was adamant about, so if the dog doesn't get the proper training, you're just gonna you're not. I thought we agreed on this, that we're gonna get rid of the dog.
See, that's because he should have never said to her. He should have never said to her, if things don't work out and he is still aggressive, I will get rid of the dog.
But in a relationship,
now she's saying, I want you to stick by your word, and this is him saying.
In a relationship, you have a right to change your mind. Like, what if one day?
My point is, this is him saying things and lying, because it could be you know you didn't mean that.
He's lying.
I think he thought it was gonna turn out differently.
He knew he did not mean that, and he was, and then the next day just let me finish. Just let me finish. He knew that the next day, when she brought it up to him, he immediately changed his mind. At that moment, he was emotional. He wanted to keep her. And he said whatever he could to keep her interested. And then the very next day, he was just like, well, I don't know if I could do that. Stop saying shit when you're all emotional. And this is my problem with him. He's so emotional. That's going to be the cause, because she's going to look at that as, you told me another untruth. You lied to me when you said, when you said one thing, but then the very next day you completely change it. She's going to look at it as lies. That's all.
But I feel like something to that magnitude, I could see him backpedaling on it. I'm not saying that she shouldn't feel the way she feels, but that's a big decision. It's not like, oh, I wanted marble countertops versus a butcher block. Like, that's some shit I'd be like, nah, I changed my mind. Like, that's a big decision to get rid of.
But look how dismissive she was of it. She didn't want to hear it.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing.
You got to be one to compromise.
Proper pet owners. I would never, ever, ever entertain. If I marry somebody tomorrow, I have a dog, they have a dog. I don't give a shit how the fuck dogs are. I'm not going to entertain them in the house or in the apartment. I'm going to be like, let's go to a dog park. Let's put our dogs on leashes, because Alexis let her dog. The dog was on the leash, and she just dropped the leash, and the dog was walking around.
Her dog can get attacked anywhere.
Exactly.
Like any other
can
dog.
I ask you a question, Tanya? Can I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
So you're a dog owner. So
I'm not a dog owner anymore, but I had an aggressive dog.
So it was the difference was that were they at his apartment when she brought the dog, or was that the neutral apartment? Because
that was the neutral apartment. The neutral.
Okay.
So what they should have done is taken, instead of bringing and introducing both dogs into the neutral apartment, what they should have done is met at a park somewhere, a dog park, neutral, and been like, let's bring the dogs, put them on the leash, let's let them sniff each other around, and then let's figure it out. And then if they're comfortable on the leash sniffing each other out, then okay, you got the bigger, your dog is aggressive, my dog isn't. Let's let your dog off the leash, and I'm going to hold my dog on the leash, my non-aggressive dog on the leash, and I'm going to let your dog do what it do. And that's it. When I had my dog, I had a boxer, and my dog was very aggressive. And the only reason why my dog was aggressive is because I trained her that way, because I was newly divorced, I moved from my house in Dallas to another to an apartment, and I had no support system. So I had my big ass boxer, and I vigorously trained her to be aggressive, just in case somebody tries to roll up in here, you're going to get your ass you're going to die. Period. In the story. But herein lies the issue. When people came to visit, I always had her on the leash beside me on the couch. Come on in. I'd open the door. I'd be like, come on in. And I'd be like, it's going to take about 30 minutes. It was a ritual. Sit down. My dog's going to sniff you. She's not going to bite you. She's going to sniff you. She's going to get comfortable with you. She might growl. She might do whatever, but she's not going to bite you. Trust me on that one. And after 20, 30 minutes, my dog is like in your lap, wanting to be your lap dog. But I go outside with other people's dogs to the dog parks, and I'd always have my dog on a leash, and these people would be letting their dogs off the leash, and I'd be like, my dog is aggressive. Do not let your fucking dog run over here off leash, because my dog is going to mutilate this dog. So get your dog away from my dog. It's all about communication. So that's what I said. I fought them both on this. But what I don't want is for Justin to surrender his dog. He's had that dog since she was birthed. Justin needs to give that dog to a family member or pay a kennel to house that dog after the 8 weeks. If that marriage doesn't last, then go get your dog. Go get your dog.
But I think he's supposed to be in the kennel for like 6 weeks, though.
That's right. Like, I didn't like the way the kennel was set up. It looked like a whole ass kennel. I didn't like it.
I also just don't like how, I understand her dog got attacked, so she was sensitive about that. But I feel like, I don't know, she could, I think she's low key suppressing the fact that she just isn't into him.
That was her out. How quickly did she turn, Tracy, when that dog bit her dog? All right.
I don't think she's digging him. So and part of her issue was all she put on her paper was tall. You got to put more than that down, sis.
And here's the thing for me is that Justin was all in his feelings. When Maya bit whatever Newton. I get where Alexis was coming from, but Justin put that dog in the room and was like, bad dog, shut the door. You never should say bad dog, because that's not the dog's fault. That's the owner's fault. So he came back and he's like, I'm so sorry. He was like crying. I don't know about the whole crying thing, but he's like, let me come with you to the vet. and get the dog fixed and, get it going. Let's go. And she's like, no. And that was at that moment that I was like, that was
she
her.
Ain't digging him. She ain't not into that. Man.
Because if you really love him, you told the man you loved him at your honeymoon. If you really truly love somebody, yeah, you might be upset that his dog bit your dog. But if he comes to you and he's
let him make amends. Let him make amends. She's not.
And he's trying to make it right. And you're like, no. She was just shutting his ass off. I was like, oh yeah, that's all she needed was that out.
But that wasn't the first time she kind of showed her ass, because when she went to his apartment, she was extremely rude and a little bit nasty.
She's a rude bitch anyway.
Yeah, that whole thing about his apartment, like he said, it's a small apartment, probably what he could afford, but it was enough for him. He's like, and then I could see him trying to overcompensate and trying to explain to her why he had a small apartment. And he's like, as a married man, of course I wouldn't have something this small. But the way that she turned her nose up and made him feel like, he was less than over his apartment. And remember last week, I was like, I loved her to death. I did not like that. I did not like how she treated him after the dog situation. I understood it a little, but the whole apartment thing, I'm not giving her a pass.
But pay attention. Her family's rude as fuck too. So she comes from that environment. Her sisters and her mama, rude.
Ignorant.
But I don't even remember.
Let's get back to the apartment, because that was my last note on my notes. Yo, this is California, folks. If you don't know your real estate, watch Married at First Sight, because there is no logistical fucking reason that Justin's 7'9" ass is living in a 200 square foot apartment. And on top of that, let's go to Kristen. When Mitch walked into Kristen's apartment, her apartment was a whole ass, maybe 150 square foot. She's like, here's my living room, here's my kitchen, here's my bed.
That's what they can afford.
That's all you can afford in Cali. That's the California, San Diego living. This is what we're dealing with. So stop judging these people living in Cali, because the cost of living in California and San Diego.
And then the whole thing with your friends don't mind that there's airplanes going over.
Right.
No, he's like, we need an airport. Let's go on a trip.
Yes. Enough of nothing. I don't give a fuck if the airplane. Listen, I'm doing deck life right now, and I'm in Brockton, and I can guarantee you, every 10 minutes, a plane is going over my house, going straight to Logan Airport. Do I give a shit about that? No, because this is what I live. This is what I'm dealt with.
And you're getting to know these people. You're getting to know them. Like,
right.
Fall back.
Get
to know the person. Sit back and observe. I was telling my husband this the other day. Sometimes you got to just shut the fuck up. Like, and I said it in a nice way. Like, if you're waiting to get information from somebody, be quiet.
That's right.
Be quiet.
That's right.
And observe. Stop doing all that talking.
Look up. Stop judging people, because it is what it is. Like, and I'm sorry, Alexis's apartment wasn't even all that. It was cute, but it wasn't all that great that would warrant her to go to Justin's house and start, judging him on his small ass apartment.
But you know what was funny, and this is probably the last thing I have to say about this couple, is that what's indicative of how their relationship is going to go is that they matched on a dating site before this. She freaking swiped past him because she wasn't into him then. And
him now,
and God said otherwise. So,
but she also said that because she was in her head that she probably missed out on a good thing. So I think she kind of went in with like, okay, well, let me give this a chance. But now I'm looking at her personality and I'm thinking, it's not that I dislike Justin. I don't dislike him. It's just he's too emotional. And I'm a crier. I cry a lot.
Same.
But I know how to rein in my emotions.
Crying together.
You can't
like that.
You can't. No, it's too much. It's too much. It's like somebody would say something to him at Starbucks, and he'd be like, oh, I'm like so sorry. What the fuck is wrong with you? So it's too much. So it's not like I dislike him. I just don't like, and I don't want to be like, I don't like that part of him because it's just too sensitive. But she's on a level. I think she's starting to show a level of ignorance that I did not like this last episode.
Yeah,
you're gonna see more because she cussing him out in all the previews.
Ooh.
Oh really? Damn.
Oh yes.
Yup. So okay,
and dismissing him.
That
yeah,
we are. Listen, Tracy, we thank you for coming on. And
thank
being
you.
It's
always funny to hear a different perspective live.
But we, everybody, Chris is out of the country, and but herein lies the preview. Next week, for the first time, Chris, Shahida, and TT are going to be live and in charge in LA. Coming.
Watch you miss the show.
Oh, you already know I'm going to miss the show, bitch. We got too much shit. I got too much shit going on.
Did you watch?
And the three of us got
you
too
guys
much.
Gotta record out.
No, we gotta watch the show at least on Thursday morning.
Yeah, we're gonna have to watch it together on.
Maybe
on Wednesday.
Party.
Well, we can't
be able to watch it that Wednesday.
We'll be at the Hollywood Bowl.
Okay, fancy.
Oh, we're so fancy. So we are going to be in LA, and when we record, we're gonna come to you from LA, the three of us at the same time. So I'm excited. Shahida, travel safe. When do you leave?
Tuesday.
I leave on Sunday. I leave at Sunday, and we'll be in LA.
Take pictures at that place. What's it called? Otium? Take pictures of the food.
Oh, Odium. Oh, yeah, we're going to take
pictures for me because I want to see the food.
Live.
I want to see
we might have to go live at Odium because listen, I've been there. Shahida hasn't. And I'm going to say right now, Shahida is going to
you had me at Bucatini, girl.
Girl, I love my Bucatini all day. So I can't wait,
Tracy, for filling in for Chris.
My pleasure. We'll see him back next week.
We're almost 2 hours.
Yeah, we are. We've been flapping our gums because that's what women do. Oh, well, it is what it is. All right, so here we go. We'll see you next week live from LA. And at the end of the day,
definitely gonna bring you back, Tracy, because we want to hear.
We love you. We love you
too. Thank you.
Okay.